Hey everyone, I'm just going to wait a few minutes while everybody logs on. Happy Sunday. I hope everyone's doing well. It is, yeah, full moon. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that tonight. I'm going to, as more people come on, I am. Today's readings are going to be a little bit different than what they've been in the past. I'm changing it up a bit. So I'm actually going to start doing. Hi, Roxanne. Thanks for joining. I'm just waiting for a few more people to come on before I start. Um, what I was saying is I am going to run this a little differently than I have in the past. I'm actually starting a podcast. So the podcast material is going to come from the first 20 minutes of this Facebook Live. And so what I'm going to do is a little bit of, I'm going to introduce the podcast, which will seem weird to all of you that are online right now. And then what I'm going to do is do about 20 minutes of just general guidance. So I'm just going to pull a card for all of us and just give some general guidance. I also want to talk about the full moon and its effects and kind of what everybody's feeling and what that full moon really means. And then we'll get into personalized readings, and those readings will not be on the podcast. So I just want everyone to know that the podcast really is just going to be probably the first 20 minutes. I'm not sure when it will be released, but I will post once it gets released. The podcast will also generate a blog post. And so, yeah, I'm doing a whole bunch of crazy social media stuff with my business coach. I'm going to be getting an Instagram account. I'm a bit of a dinosaur, but it's time for me to get an Instagram account and start posting there as well. So thanks everybody for joining. So I'm just going to pause for a minute and then I'm going to start the spiel for the podcast. Hey everyone, thanks for joining the first podcast for Unmask and Evolve. My name is Shasta Zeman. I'm a nurse practitioner. I've been nursing for 17 years. I've been a nurse practitioner for 8. I'm located in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada, and really have spent the majority of my career working with Aboriginal people in remote aspects of Ontario and with the Inuit in Nunavut. And so I'm super excited to start this podcast. I think that this podcast is kind of an evolution of what I've been doing online, and it's another way to get to reach more people and help more people. And so the idea of this podcast is really to provide, let people into my world, my worldview of healthcare. My healthcare philosophy very much is based on the Aboriginal teachings of the medicine wheel, where I believe that health and wellness is really based on being balanced in all 4 directions, which are emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual. And when we have an imbalance in any of those areas, we get symptoms in other areas. And so I've seen this personally and I've seen it professionally, and I've been on my own journey to health and wellness. And, that's why this is called Unmasking and Evolving, because I've been unmasking and evolving. And it's been a humbling experience. But I really feel that my experience is something that many women can relate to. So today we're specifically jumping into the spiritual realm. We're going to be using oracle cards today, which is a tool that I use really to get in contact with my intuition, to reassure me about my intuition. I think as women, it is part of us that we ignore a lot of times because we live in a world of shoulds and of comparison and of unrealistic expectations. And we are generally not really connected with self, right? We've learned through a variety of ways as we've grown up that we shouldn't do that. And so this is a tool that I use to help me, especially when I find that things are chaotic in my life. It's a way to give me guidance of what the lessons are, why this is occurring, and it's a way for reassurance. I always say to people, yes, I am a medical person. I love science, but yeah, I do talk about a lot of spiritual alternative stuff. And if that's not your shtick, then, I would say this isn't the podcast for you. Um, so the first thing I want to talk about today is, before I start pulling cards for the viewers in the Facebook Live, I want to kind of talk about the full moon that is occurring right now. So between February 8th, February 9th of 2020 is the Leo full moon. So in astrology, we call it the Leo full moon. In Aboriginal traditions, they call it the snow moon. Right now, it's a super moon, so it means that the moon itself is brighter because it's closer to the Earth, and so it's giving off a lot more energy. And for me, like, there's science behind this. I mean, the moon's gravitational pull moves water, right? And so people say to me, "Oh, Shasta, like, you're ridiculous." But most people in medicine, mostly nurses, we believe in the full magic of the full moon because we've seen interesting things in the emergency departments and in our hospitals, from a mental health perspective, from a an injuries perspective. So a lot of us believe in the healthcare field that, certainly the moon, we all say, "Oh God, it's a full moon. It's crazy. There's a ton of people in the emergency department." So I believe, as humans, we are 60% water, and many of our organs are, 90 plus. If the moon has the ability to have gravitational pull on the ocean and the seas, then it does affect us. And so that's my belief. And so, this moon is quite interesting because it is February. It's the month of love, right? And this moon really is about self-love. It's about self-confidence. It's about courage. It's about clarity. And so it's not just love with other people in our relationships. It's really about our own self-esteem, connecting deeply with who we are deep down, and owning that part of ourselves. And so that's what this moon is going to bring up for us. And so if we are in workplaces or in relationships where that are not great for us, we're going to notice we're an intolerability to people being disrespectful, people diminishing us. We're just not going to have a tolerance this month for that. This moon really is about getting us to be really self-secure, really trusting in ourselves. And if you haven't done the work, then the universe is going to test you a bit. The universe is going to place people in front of you that are going to test you and your sense of self. And so if you notice you're having more difficulty in relationships, the universe is asking you to speak up, right? To say what you mean, and to honor ourselves. And really, it's about living life for you now, right? And dropping the expectations of what other people have placed upon us. And so it's really about marching to our own drum, being confident in that, and really just not giving a fuck about what other people think. Easier said than done. So if you are struggling, reach out. This really is about getting to know yourself. And so, in this month or so, it really can be a bit of a rocky ride. So really it's about, connecting with ourselves. That is the purest expression of love and authenticity. Really, that's what this month is about. So when the full moon is out, we can have both physical and emotional symptoms. And this has been really helpful for me to be aware of, because it has allowed me to understand why things occur. And then it gives me a bit of reassurance of why, people may be a little bit more irritable, why my mind is foggy, why I'm tired, why I I'm having more thoughts, why I'm not sleeping well, why I, why people may have impulsive or irrational behavior. And I think this is in medicine where we see this. So we may see a lot more stab wounds and gunshot wounds and car accidents and things like that. Certainly people with mental health illness can be, we can see a lot more, irrational behavior around that. But certainly the positive is that it can bring out a lot of creativity. So people who are very artistic, musicians, physical art, dance, people are really wanting to move their bodies, to paint, to create. And so it can be a profound amount of energy to help you create in whatever creative capacity that might be. Certainly from a physical point of view, people can have upset stomach, they can have headaches, they can have so digestive issues, whether that's, a little bit of nausea or diarrhea. Certainly flare-ups of like autoimmune disorder. So things like psoriasis can flare up, things like rheumatoid arthritis or lupus symptoms. If you have pain, specifically back or joint pain, sometimes that can be worse at this time. Certainly I'm not saying that anybody's bad behavior should be justified by the moon. I'm not saying that. I don't believe, as women, we should use our periods as an excuse to go full on bitch mode on people. I don't think that is, I don't think that's okay. I don't believe that. But sometimes what it does is it allows us to show compassion and loving kindness to someone who clearly may not have the knowledge and the skill to be able to manage what they're feeling. Whereas we are aware, self-aware. And, for me at this time of the month, it's really about focusing on self-care, right? This is not the time of the month to be booking a ton of extra meetings, to be running yourself ragged, to be, over exercising or, doing those things. This is really about, rest and allowing yourself to sleep if that's what you need, to create if that's what you need, to just slow life down a bit for a few days and just honor that versus trying to strong will it and push yourself through. And I struggle with that, honestly, because for me, being productive is important. And so laying in bed and being unquote unquote lazy is really difficult for me. I'm getting better at it. And so, when I look at, was I productive this weekend? Absolutely not. Did I nap? Yes. Did I, lie in bed and just enjoy quiet? Yes. And so these things are important. It's also important time to like not go out of your way to fight, right? And start arguments. And sometimes it's just better to walk away and not respond. Yeah, it's a good time to increase our gratitude, work on our positivity, and really trying to damp down those negative thoughts. Because at this time of the month, it can be a time where there's increase of that. But the positive is that our gifts and our abilities can be really strong because the veil between the physical and spiritual realm is quite thin. And so for people who are quite intuitive, they're more intuitive at this time. If you are really have mediumship like or a medium, you may be able to hear spirit. There's a lot of benefit to this time. I think the way I harness the moon, besides just really understanding how the world is working, so I can look at the chaos and kind of chuckle to myself and say, thank God I'm not in that anymore, because I was in that craziness. I'm not saying I'm not affected. I am highly affected by it. My daughter is highly affected by the moon. So on Wednesday night, she didn't sleep. That night she was up at 2 a.m. and this is something like clockwork. And I've spoken about this on here with you guys before, is that it's almost like clockwork. I can tell by my daughter is very energy sensitive and I need to honor that. And so I can, based on her sleep or not sleeping, I can tell when the moon is happening, whether it's a full moon or a new moon, because she's, for some reason, she's really sensitive to both. So, how I like to use the moon is that, this moon is a nice reflection of what we tried to manifest 6 months ago back in the summer. So it's interesting when I think about what happened in the last 6 months for me, I dreamt about and evolved a business. And that's, I started my business out 6 months ago just with coaching on the side. I had my first coaching client. So a shout out to Nicole Roy for supporting me. And, at that time when I was dreaming about this, when I was manifesting and saying, okay, this is what I want, I've now manifested that. So it's pretty neat to look back. So what manifestation is really a powerful thing we can do at the full moon. And what I do is I just take a piece of paper. I smudge, I clean off that negative energy. I go in a place, I ground myself. So I do a bit of a visualized meditation, ground myself with Mother Earth, make sure that I'm grounded. And then I start to write, and I start to write my dreams. What do I want in my business, in my personal life, in my love life, as a parent, in my relationship, whatever that is, whatever you're focusing on. And I write it out, right? And then I burn it and let it out. It's a great thing to do at this time of the month. The moon energy, it lasts, a few days before and a few days after. So that energy is still very strong today. And so I would suggest that you do that tonight. So for those of you that are just tuning into this Facebook Live, I've changed how I'm going to do these free Oracle card readings on Sunday afternoons, because I'm starting a podcast. And so the first 20 minutes or so of the podcast, I'm going to give just some generalized guidance. And then I'm going to pull one card for the entire group. And then I'm going to start the individual readings, and those individual readings will not be part of the podcast. So I just do want to let everybody know that your confidentiality will be maintained. But that's why you're hearing me ramble a bit in the beginning. And so this is going to be the first episode of my upcoming podcast, and I will post the link once it's published, which probably will take a couple of weeks. So today, the Oracle cards that I'm going to be pulling from, I have this new deck, and I'm psyched about it. Like, I know the other new deck that I was using, the Divine Feminine Oracle, I couldn't really get into it. But this one is really practical and it's awesome. So this is the one that I'm going to be pulling from today. It's called A Yogic Path. Beautiful, beautiful cards. It's beautiful. So I've pulled a couple of cards from it, and it's really nice because it gives really practical advice. So I'm going to pull one just for the group. I think I just want to go over again with Oracle cards. Sometimes the readings are very much meant for the entire group. And I think all of you who have been on here, who have seen the readings, you've been very well aware that sometimes I end up pulling the same cards over and over again for different people. And you see that I shuffle these cards. And so it's kind of, the message can be profound for all of us. So it doesn't necessarily, you can get something out of it by listening and not actually getting a reading. So again, if you're looking for a reading, please put a thumbs up emoji in the comments so that I know. I see Ruby, you want one, and Diane, you want one. And if there's anyone else, please don't hesitate to put your thumb up, and I'll do readings. So this first reading that I'm doing, it's for the group. So we'll see kind of where we need to go in the next week. So this can be really great for us as something to focus on for the week. I think it's important for us to kind of look at, to have a tool for us to, examine what we need to get done for the week and what our goals are. And this is a nice way to give us a topic or a goal or something to kind of work through. So I'm just gonna, these cards are a bit stiff, so I'm just gonna really shuffle these as much as I can. So lots of really cool things coming up for me. I'm starting a podcast. I'm going to get my butt on Instagram because that's what the young, cool kids do. I feel like I'm old, and anyways, I'm going to get on Instagram, and so you're going to see me on multiple platforms. This is business in 2020. So you'll be able to see me and follow me in those as well. And a blog. So I know I've done a few blog posts, but the podcasts are going to be an inspiration for a written blog post as well. Okay, interesting. I pulled this card for myself this week. So this is Ahimsa. Beautiful card. You'll see there's two lions, the moon, third eye up in the top, if you can see that. Oh, that's better. Some lotus. So these are all Sanskrit words so anybody that does yoga, you'll recognize some of the words. So ahimsa, yama, means non-violence, so upright. So if we got the card upright, which we did, but I'm gonna give you both because I think both are important. It says, you have been observant of how your thoughts affects your actions and how your actions reflect the quality of your life. Through actively changing your internal monologue, you are manifesting a heightened state of consciousness and a new paradigm. Continue to fine-tune your inner language to radiate compassion, joy, and peace. Even the most disciplined yogis still often look in the mirror and think negative thoughts about themselves, get frustrated when they get stuck in traffic, or speak words to a loved one that don't radiate pure love. These moments are your guru, reminding you of where you still need to grow. Overcoming your triggers facilitates growth. Each time you feel the voice of negativity come through, sing back to it words of ahimsa, compassion. You'll quickly find these words echoed back by all those you encounter. It's time to be a little nicer to yourself. Ahimsa, nonviolence, is often practiced by yogis when it comes to others. But what about nonviolence towards ourselves? As the Buddha says, the thought manifests as the word, and the word manifests as the deed, and the deed develops into habit, and the habit hardens into character. So watch the thought and its ways with care, and let it spring from love, born out of concern of all beings. As the shadow follows the body, as we think, so we become. The way we speak to ourselves becomes the way we speak to others, and the reality we reside in. Catch yourself when a self-defeating thought comes to mind. Would you say this to your child, your best friend, or anyone for that matter? Honor yourself in the same way. I think that this is an amazing card because with all of that I've just talked about, from the full moon being, the February of 2020 full moon, and that really it's about love and it's about self-love. And, the reality is many of us are not connected to self. Many of us do not treat ourselves well. And this is such an important journey. It's in order for us to be able to live authentically, we need to be our biggest cheerleader. We need to be our best friend. We need to be connected. For us to be in a fulfilling relationship with another, we need to be in a connected, fulfilled relationship with ourselves. And so this week, I ask you, for Valentine's, I ask you to start to just be aware of how you speak to yourself. That's it. Just be aware of how those thoughts and those words come into your everyday being, coming from the time that you get out of the shower, when we make a mistake. The reality is we're perfectly imperfect, right? We're not meant to be perfect beings. We are never going to be, that Om Buddha that is perfect. We are messy, and we get tripped up, we don't always come from a place of love, and that's okay. And it's about showing ourselves love and compassion. It's about being honest and apologizing and forgiveness, and that forgiveness to ourselves, right? And so I think that is a really great way to start this video today. So now, for those of you that are listening to the podcast, I just want to sign off and say thank you. My call to action today is for you to really think about and become aware of that negative self-talk. Okay, just become aware of it, and start to think about ask yourself the 4 questions. Is this true? Is this necessary? Is this kind? When we have those thoughts about ourselves. And so that's my message. You can reach out to me through Facebook at Unmask and Evolve Holistic Health and Wellness. I have a private group, Unmask and Evolve. You can find me on my website, www.unmaskandevolve.ca. And eventually I will be on Instagram and YouTube, and I look forward to the upcoming podcast. So thank you for tuning in and following me. Thanks. Have a great day. Okay, so that's so we can clip the audio for the podcast. So I know this is a bit weird for you guys. I thank you for being patient. This is all really new for me. So I have my business coach is going to be helping me with more of the social media stuff. And so you're going to notice noticing that even with my live NP stuff, I'm going to do more of a 20-minute thing so that we can have some blog posts or podcast stuff. So the first person up, Ruby. First of all, I want to say happy birthday, Ruby. It was your birthday yesterday, and I just wanted to say happy birthday. And you're looking so well, and you look so much in love. And I just wanted to say that I want to say thank you to you for supporting me. So Ruby is an EA, and she is an incredible human. She's very spiritual and intuitive, and she really was able to help me during a difficult time last year with my daughter and gave me so much support. And so I just want to say thank you, because I don't think I've ever expressed that to you. And I just want to say that you were amazing during a really tough time. So thank you so much. So let's pull a card for you. For those of you that are joining later, I'm using this new deck, which I've totally fallen in love with. So we're going to be using this. It's called the Yogic Path. I got it at Chapters. I found a gift card in my bag from Central Butte, and this is what I bought myself. So it was really quite nice. A great way for me to remember all my peeps in Central Butte, and a way for me to have something new. I was just saying earlier that the Divine Feminine Oracle card, I'm just not feeling it right now. And so I tried to use it a little bit last week, and I wasn't feeling it. So, okay, Kali. So Kali is a goddess, and there's some snakes. So the nice thing about this deck is I haven't read, I've only pulled a few cards for myself, so I haven't read most of these cards. And so I'm experiencing this all the first time with you guys, which is cool. 99. Okay. Kali, goddess of destruction, dissolution, and ecstasy. You drawn upon Kali when you are in a time of radical rebirth. She is fierce, erratic, untamed, the part of you that you are afraid to give full control because you don't know where it will take you. She will destroy and disillusion and bring you face to face with your darkest shadows, not to cause anguish, but rather from a deep place of love. She demolishes the ego that creates the boundary between you and your highest self. She is the ecstasy. I don't think I said that right. Anyways, ecstasy, experienced in an orgasm, meditation, bold self-expression, or pushing a child out of the womb. Kali comes to you in a time of deep liberation, stepping into your truer form of you. Trust the process and allow yourself to release all limitations so you can become one with the bliss that you are. The reverse. Look in the mirror. What is it that you are afraid to see? We all have parts of us that are less than perfect. But they can only be brought into the light through acknowledgement. Recognize those shadows, why they come to be, the purpose they once had, and how they are no longer needed. Write down the limiting beliefs you are holding on to that are preventing you from reaching your higher truth, and burn them into flames. Shake your body, scream, clear your house, let go of stale relationships, practice self-pleasure, free the parts of you that have been suppressed, and step into your wild nature to experience Kali's enlightenment. Oh, that's amazing. That's an amazing card for you. I know that you're going through a major transition, and I hope that that is really, really helpful for you. So let me know what you think about that, Ruby. Diane will do a card for you. Diane, you're starting a podcast too, eh? Oh, that's awesome. I can't wait to hear it. Yeah, it's running a business and the importance of social media is incredible, and it's nothing that I ever really thought, but it's an important part of all of this, and it's been a fun ride. I'm learning a lot. So Diane, let's pull a card for you. I think that card is so fitting for you, Ruby, but also really fitting for the entire group, right? About self-love and are really, there's a point at which we get stifled. A lot of people will say it's, midlife crisis. It's just a point in our lives where we're tired of living behind the masks and not living our true self and living authentically. And so to our family, it seems irrational to go and buy a sports car or quit our job or do whatever. But it really is like, it's just a point at where we're just tired of living a life that, appears to be perfect on the outside, but isn't giving us, but we feel empty inside. And so, that's my definition of like the midlife crisis, which I think many people who are not being true to themselves, experience in one way or another. Okay. So Diane, you're getting tapas. It's a beautiful woman. Some flowers, an apple, like a mandala. Beautiful. So tapas means yoga, 93. Tapas, niyama, self-discipline. You've gotten where you are because of your discipline, tapas, and this will continue to take you where you need to go. While discipline sounds like a heavy word, it is really just committing to becoming the highest version of yourself. The next evolvement will require refinement of your inner strength. You are undergoing a deep transformation, stepping outside of your comfort zone, gaining strength, moving through fear. Now is the time to ask yourself the important questions. What practices have I committed to? What practices do I still need to commit to? Is my daily routine serving me? How can I improve it? Where do I need to set boundaries in my life to further align with my truth? Am I showing up for myself in the way I would for a friend or a child? This is amazing. This is amazing because I agree with this card that you're a badass entrepreneur, Diane, and you are amazing. And I wouldn't be where I am if I didn't find you and had been so inspired by your story and what you're doing as an independent nurse practitioner. I just want to tell you that you're amazing. My success would not, I wouldn't have had the balls to do it without the work that you have, have put out there. So I just want to say thank you to you as well. And I think that these questions are helpful for all of us in this month of self-love. Really, it's like, what are you tolerating in your life that no longer serves you? Whether it's a relationship, whether it's you know, be your house being disorganized, so it distracts you from being able to get the things done. Whether it's, the fact that you're not putting in time to kind of meal plan and grocery shop, you're tolerating kind of bad, not honoring your physical body. What are you tolerating? Are you saying yes when you should be saying no, so that you can focus on the things that you want to be, but you're people pleasing? So this is really amazing. The reverse. The difference between humans and animals is tapas, discipline. Though we have animalistic urges, we can train the mind to move beyond them towards a greater good for ourselves and for those around us. Discipline will mean different things for different doshas at different times. For Vedas, so doshas are different body types in the Ayurvedic. So if you want to Google this, Google Ayurvedic dosha, DOSHA, and you have to answer a whole bunch of questions. And it takes into account your personality traits, your physical body, whether your skin, your hair, your nails, like everything. I am a kapha because of my body, because I gain weight in the middle and I'm kind of round. You're not just one dosha. You tend to be two. I'm very much Veda in my brain because I'm, very disciplined and anxious and those types of things. So Veda discipline will mean following through with tasks at hand and seeing their vision to completion. For Pitas, discipline will mean honoring the mind, body, and spirit by resting when needed. So Pitas tend to be, I hate to be, stereotypical, but like more that yogi personality. Where for kaphas, discipline will mean committing to a movement or health regime that makes them feel inspired. Ask yourself, where do I need more discipline? Am I seeing my visions to completion or starting new projects before finishing the ones that matter? Am I challenging myself too much or too little? Am I showing up for my personal physical self-care practices every day? So I think this is a really awesome card for you. So let me know what you think about that. If anybody, if I send you a card, if I do a card and you want a copy, like a picture of it, just send me a private Facebook message, and then I can, with the name of the card, because I won't remember, and I can send you the write out and the picture. Okay, so who is next? Roxanne. Oh, Judy Buchan. So we'll do Judy. So if anyone's online and they want a oracle card reading, just put a thumbs up emoji in the comments. It's just easier for me to see. So we'll do Judy, and we'll Roxanne, Deborah Young, Amy Lee. We'll do one for you, definitely. Jody. Yeah, great. So we'll do all of those. Yeah, definitely. Perfect. So, Judy, this is Radha, Radha. Beautiful woman. Really pretty card. Doesn't come across very well in the picture. But it looks like she's holding some tulips. She's kind of a stone figure. So deities. Okay. Goddess of passion, passionate love and longing. Are you in love? You very well may be soon. Radha is the goddess of euphoric bliss and deep surrender when you gaze into the eyes of your lover. She is the passionate lover of Krishna, who gave up everything to be in his arms. Radha represents the desire to merge with your beloved and lose yourself in the utter ecstasy that is love. If you aren't already in love, it's well on its way and already occurring all around you. Allow yourself to lose yourself in the divine dance of romance, for love is just you experiencing your own soul in another body. Are you afraid to love? This is deep vulnerability that comes with a sacred union. When you've fallen in love, your entire heart exists in another body, out of your control. To experience this is to experience true enlightenment. Love is the most divine emotion one can experience, and to say no to love is to say no to yourself. Even the most heartbroken can be mended again. Become complete within yourself while still holding space for that sacred lover who is awaiting your reunion in this lifetime. I know that you are happily married, Judy, and I feel like that card for you is very much about after losing Shauna, it hardened, right? Grief hardened your heart, and I think you're scared to show that vulnerability because you're still mourning her loss. And let me know if that rings true for you. And so I think, your husband is being a great support, or I hope that he's being a great support to you. And I think that what the card is now saying is to focus on that, focus on your grandchildren and your daughters, and focus on, it doesn't mean not to think in love of Shauna and honor her in every way in your day-to-day life, but it's, mending that heart, mending that broken heart. Okay. So let me know, Judy, how you feel about that. Okay, Roxanne, let's pull something for you. Interesting. You're getting the Kali card. Just let me know if you heard that. I can read it. Thankfully, the readings aren't that long, so I can reread this card for you. Kali. Goddess of destruction, dissolution, and ecstasy. So you draw upon Kali when you're at a time of radical rebirth. She is fierce, erratic, untamed. The part of you that you're afraid to give full control because you don't know where it will take you. She will destroy all disillusions and bring you face to face with your darkest shadows, not to cause anguish, but rather from a deep place of love. She demolishes the ego that creates the boundaries between you and your highest self. She is the ecstasy experienced in an orgasm, meditation, bold self-expression, or pushing a child out of the womb. Kali comes to you in a time of deep liberation, stepping into the truer form of you. Trust the process and allow yourself to release all the limitations so you can become one with the bliss that you are. Look in the mirror. What is it that you are afraid of? We all have parts of us that are less than perfect, but they can only be brought into the light through acknowledgement. Release those shadows. When they come to be, the purpose they once had and how they are no longer needed. Write down the limiting beliefs you are holding on to that are preventing you from reaching your higher truth and burn them into flames. The the full moon and the new moon. The new moon is is about releasing, and so the new moon, very commonly I write down the things that I want to die, those self-limiting beliefs, and there's no harm in doing that, manifesting that person that you want to be, or that relationship, right? Writing down, what does that look like for you? I mean, I think we need to be careful about the specifics, because the universe will provide you something that they'll come through, but it might not be exactly in the package that you wanted, of course. But this might be a good time with the moon to be able to look at those self-limiting beliefs and saying, what is it that you want to let go of? Shake your body, scream, clear your house, let go of stale relationships, practice self-pleasure, free the parts of yourself that have been suppressed, and step into your wild nature to experience Kala's enlightenment. Let me know what you think about that, Roxanne. I'm just going to look at the comments here and see if there's anything new. Amy Lee, I will do your reading next. Roxanne, yeah. Oh, thanks, Judy. Thanks for reassuring me. Sometimes I'm hesitant to say anything because it's such a sensitive topic. But and I don't want to be wrong, right? But it's also a way for me for you to help. You're helping me learn about my intuition, which I really appreciate. So thank you for sharing your vulnerability with the group, and thank you for putting your hand up to get a card. So I thank everybody that puts their hand up to get a card, because this is personal, right? And so it shows a great deal of strength and vulnerability. I'm not saying you're not if you don't, but it takes a lot of courage to be able to know that things are not right, and to ask for assistance, right? So Amy, let's do a card for you. I love this deck. What are you guys thinking about this deck? I really like it. I think it's my new favorite. Although I like my spirit animals, but I have to say this deck is. I like that it's really practical. I like that it's taking some yogi kind of terms and spirituality and really making it tangible, because I think certainly where I get lost is when it's way too spiritual and I can't bring it to my own life. It feels a little bit airy-fairy to me, and I have a hard time really bringing it in because I am a concrete thinker. So Amy, you're having sattva. And that looks like the evil eye at the top. Or it might be the third eye. And it's a woman who's standing there with a veil that's kind of flowing behind her. It's hard to kind of see. And it's like crocheted lace. So it's... Sattva. So it's in the Ayurvedic section 30, page 37. Okay. So sattva is purity and clarity. You have to let go of things that were holding you back and are reaching deeper level. You have let go of the things that were holding you back and are reaching deeper levels of clarity. Maybe you've cleaned up your diet, home, self-care products, relationships, thought patterns, career goals, or life outlooks, and are now experiencing the joys that come with purity, sattva. The space you have created is allowing greater gifts that are more aligned with your truth to present, aligned with your truth to present themselves. Continue on this path towards clarity by shedding all that is no longer serving you. When your body becomes pure, your thoughts and life will reflect that. Bring sattva, purity, into all that you do, and your path will continue to become more clear. Have your thoughts been cloudy recently? Have the foods you've been putting into your body been less than pure? Has your breath been swimming in shallow waters? It's time to cleanse your body, mind, and spirit. Let go of toxic foods, thoughts, emotions, situations, and people. We take on the energy of all that is around us, and continuous exposure to lower vibration places will bring down our energy if we don't consciously put in the work to bring it back up. Try a Khichdi cleanse for several days. Khichdi is like a lentil stew that is very common in Ayurvedic cooking. And so that's what that's talking about. For several days to allow your body and mind to digest all that is taken in. Eat only fresh cooked foods straight from the earth and avoid anything processed. Practice daily yoga and meditation on and off the mat. Sattva will return when you return to your truth. So let me know what you think about that. I love Ayurvedic medicine. I love with the idea with Ayurvedic medicine is that you eat to your dosha from a food perspective. And so, so eating, it's all about like warmth and spice and, it's in order to balance it, because we have all those doshas within us. And so they get out of balance. So it's very much like the 4 directions, although it's 3 doshas and they're all within us. And so it's about balancing it. And it's really, yeah, it's really amazing. I'm drawn to that. I really like that. So let me know how that card sits with you. And yeah. So Jody will do one for you. Yeah. Roxanne saying, I think this card came up twice to get my attention. Absolutely. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Oh, Deborah, I forgot. I missed you. Sorry. I overlooked you. I'll do you next because you were waiting in line. So if I missed you, just put a comment in the below. And if anyone else is wanting a card, I don't mind doing cards for another few minutes. I think a lot, like when we are, I call it unmasking, evolving. People call it journey, their journey or professional development or personal development, whatever it is. I mean, lots of people say personal development when they don't want it to be too spiritual. But whatever work we're doing, the work that you're doing to be a better human, whatever that looks like, the reality is we can't do it alone. And so we need help. It's really interesting. I was reading this study about, people, we go to the, and I'm equally as guilty of this, is like going to the self-help section of the bookstore, picking out books, bringing them home. They either sit on your shelf or you read them, but only about 10% of the time do you actually implement them into practice. Or we take a course online. Like I've done this. I've signed up for a course or this really interesting free webinar or whatever. And then it sits in my email and I never get to it. And, but then we have this thing where we don't want to invest in ourselves. We don't think that we are worthy of that investment, to invest in a coach, to invest in, a class, whether that's a yoga class, to invest in a mentor or counseling or whatever that looks like for you. Whether investing in healing, the reality is I want you to be aware that, healers, they are not healing you. They are bringing out the best in you. You have everything within you to heal yourself. And so that's really important. It's just that they're there to kind of be a guide, right? To help guide you and to help you on your journey. So I'm always, I don't want people to think that by going to a healer, they're going to cure you by any means, right? That they're there to facilitate to growth. But it's interesting because when you look at people and what they spend their money on, right? We invest in what we value. So going to Starbucks and paying, buying a $15 worth of coffee a day is what we value, right? And then we're nickel and diming our gym membership or, yoga class or taking a painting class because we're like, oh, that's too expensive, but yet we'll go out and eat takeout once a week, right? Or over drink, right? Or, go out and party on the weekends and spend $200. So, I think we really have to look at, so money is energy, right? And that's the best way to look at it. And so you have to look at where you're investing that. And, our evolution requires assistance. I know that I've reached out to a lot of people. I couldn't do any of this alone. I don't want to, right? Because I've gained so much from those relationships and those people. So, Deborah, I'm getting tamas, which is two beautiful women with some beaded earrings, and it looks like diamonds. Like these are diamonds. So we'll see what this says. Yamas. Okay. Yamas, 8 stages of yoga, universal mortality. Your kindness, compassion, and generosity beam to all around you. The ahimsa, compassion, you display to all living things does not go unnoticed. Only honesty flows from your lips. You speak words steeped in truth, satya. You display honor in your asteya, non-stealing, because of your depth. Because of your deep sense of control. You focus on what truly matters and let go of excess belongings, practicing aparigraha or non-possessiveness. Continue shedding all that doesn't serve you as you blossom closer to your highest self. In a world with so many people and things, it can be difficult to distinguish where our moral compass lies. Perhaps you're going through a time when you aren't sure what is right or wrong. You are questioning your values or realizing that not all carry the same integrity as you. Meditate on that, on what is important to you, and write down your core values. The yogic yamas, morals, and ahismas, compassion for all living things, satyas, commitment to truth, asteya, non-stealing, brahmacara, sense of control, and aparagara, letting go of the desire to hoard what's yours. So let me know. I think, I don't know you well personally, but I know of you in Sulakaut, and I think that this is right on in that the impression I've gotten of you from afar is that you are a strong, kick-ass woman with a strong sense of self, and that you call bullshit on things. And I've always been, that I've admired that. I admire that strength and the fact that you do so much for the community and your business. So, congratulations. Okay. And so Amy is saying that, it makes sense because she's feeling really balanced in her work and home life, but feeling like she needs to do more for herself. Great. Okay. So I'm just going back up to see who is next. because I missed Deborah. And then I did Amy, and Jody is next. Who's putting up mad faces? Who's mad? Is that by accident? Because I keep saying mad faces and I don't want anybody to be unhappy. Okay, so let's do Jody. Jody James. Certainly, if I've said something that is really unkind or you're upset, please let me know, because the only way that I can be better as a human is to know, right? My intentions are really just to to be kind and compassionate and to give people help, some guidance. I am not, I don't pretend to be perfect or it's really truly intuitive, or a medium or any of that. I don't. Certainly I do believe that I'm a healer as a nurse practitioner, but yeah, so I just want to make that clear, is that if I've said something that is upsetting to you, or I've said something to someone else that you take offense, please let me know, because I want this to be a safe place for everybody to get the guidance and the information that they want. So Jody, I'm getting Tamas. There's a beautiful white tiger there, lying there with some butterflies at night. I feel like the titles of all these cards are very similar, so sometimes I feel like, oh my god, I've read that already. But it was tapas. So Tamas, 41. Okay, Tamas. Density, dullness, and inertia. You are in a period of hibernation, which is sometimes needed to blossom into a butterfly. Your body is between lines of a poem, notes of a song, steps of a dance. Use this time to fully rejuvenate your system, allowing proper rest and food. Know when it is time to emerge from your cocoon and show the world the gifts you have been cultivating. Stillness is only balanced when followed by action. Perhaps you are feeling stuck. You seem not to have the energy that you used to, or feel like the fire within you has been put out. You may feel heavy, absent-minded, and lazy. My dear, you have been in a cocoon for too long, and you've forgotten you have wings. Create movement and novelty in your life. Practice sun salutations upon waking. Take long walks in nature. Clean up your house. Let go of all tamasic food, those that are packaged, fried, or full of sugar and refined flour. It takes effort to get the wheels moving at first, but once you make the push, you'll be in effortless flow with Kriya. So let me know how that sits for you. I mean, I think as the reality is, we're mammals, right? And I think a lot of times we forget that we're really meant to hibernate in the wintertime. And in our society now, we are meant to be, 150% productive 365 days a year, minus, the 2 weeks holidays we might get. And so the expectation, our bodies can't do it, our minds can't do it. And so I find at this time of year, we do get a little bit slower because of the weather. We do spend a little bit more time indoors. We do eat more comfort food and put on a few extra pounds in the wintertime. And that's a normal evolution, right? That's because we really are meant to have some rest and rejuvenation for spring, where everything blossoms, right? So when we think about, plants and animals, they're hibernating. So yeah. Um, Oh, that's funny. So, so Charlene is saying that I got Deb's reading right on, and yeah, awesome. Perfect. That's exactly what I want to hear. I just want to see. I think Charlene, you're next. Yep. So we'll do you, Charlene, and then Donna, I'll pull a card for you, and then I think I'm gonna call it a day. Um, so Charlene, let's pull a card for you. Yeah, I think we underestimate this time of really kind of looking at what we want to create for spring, right? It's a time of just deep reflection and looking at, oh, where are we in our lives, and where do we want to go, right? Because we have to look at the seasons in reflection to our lives, and this is a time of thinking and planning and dreaming, and but then putting action, as spring gets closer, and then, so it's quite interesting. I think we underestimate, we see the seasons as an inconvenience. We're just wishing for spring to come and the better weather so that we're not shoveling snow. For those, like most of us who are online or from Canada, and we're either, in a deep freeze, and we're just wishing for spring, right? And it's really important that we're not always wishing our lives away, right now is where we need to be happy and enjoy it, and appreciate those moments of calmness that the snow brings to the earth, and the quietness, and but I get stuck in that of always achieving and evolving, and looking, instead of really being present in the moment. I can be addicted to um self evolution, right? I can be, always looking for, well, if I just learn a new tool, then I'll be able to do this. And if I just, and we have to watch out for that. So, Charlene, you're getting Hanuman, like sort of like human, but Hanuman. So it looks like a sun and a moon, and like a monkey kind of thing with kind of a galaxy there. And this, yeah, it's a monkey because it has a tail, and there he has a bit of a sun thing on the front of him. So okay. So Hanuman is the god of courage. Hanuman represents the evolved mind and the potential we all have to no longer be enslaved to our thoughts, but rather suppress them. When Lord Rama asked Hanuman, "How do you look upon me?" Hanuman answers, "When I believe I am the body, then I am your faithful servant. When I know I am the soul, I know myself to be a spark of your eternal light. And when I am the vision of truth, you and I, my Lord, are one and the same." To draw upon Hanuman symbolizes you are aware of this truth. You are more than your physical body, your ego self, your personality, and your soul. The truth is that you are the divine, as we all are, split from the same source. Continue to practice meditative states where you are reminded of the universal truth to aid in your involvement. Are you in control of your thoughts, or are your thoughts in control of you? Your mind is wandering like a wild monkey. When you don't actively train it through meditation, you lose control over it. You are jumping from one thought to the next, and often lose yourself in worry and stress. Before you begin your day and pick up technology, find your breath. Notice the moment of your thoughts and then slowly tame them. You will soon begin to notice which thoughts are yours and which are from outside forces, such as societal or parental conditioning. When you tame the mind, you are reminded of the truth that you are the divine and the answers you seek already exist inside of you, waiting for you to remember. So let me know if you're really struggling with that kind of self-criticism, self-negative thoughts. On Mondays, I usually do videos on kind of mindset. So how can we kind of learn to kind of alternate our thinking? Because the reality is our limitations, just like this says, is, our limitations are the thoughts, which is ego, right? And this is all fictitious up here. Most of it is not true. And we give it a lot of energy and power, which causes a lot of unnecessary suffering. And so, how do we stay positive? How do we kind of stop placing so much value on other people and outside of us, and just kind of allow those thoughts. Like, people are afraid of meditation because they think that they need to sit and have a quiet blank mind. That isn't the purpose of meditation. Meditation very much is allowing the thoughts to go through without actually attaching onto them and going for the ride, right? Going down the rabbit hole of I always say, like, my husband gets on a Wikipedia rabbit hole, like learning some random fact about something, right? And so we end up attaching to it and then creating more of a story with it, and most of it isn't tangible. It's not real. It's not true. But it creates an emotional response, and it creates hurt. So gratitude is really important, and it's a great way to start up your day. So every morning I do gratitude. I write things down that I'm grateful for. And sometimes those things aren't huge, right? Sometimes the things that I'm grateful for is that I just woke up, right? I woke up, I'm alive another day. Sometimes it's, I have food in my belly and a roof over my head. It doesn't have to be something significant. It can be, you're grateful for the birds singing in the spring when we first hear them, or you notice the chickadees chirp have gone from chickadee to, cheeseburger, right? Cheeseburger. It can be something simple, but it's a nice way to stay grounded and present in the moment. So let me know what you think about that. Oh, that's amazing. So Roxanne saying Charlene has been my divine light in the last while. That's amazing. I'm so happy to hear that. I'm so happy to hear that Roxanne, that you're surrounded by people who can really inspire you, and what a blessing you must be, Charlene. That's awesome. And Donna, I'm going to do the last card for you, and then that's it. So Donna, thanks for tuning in. Say hi to everybody in Central Butte. I'm missing everybody, and I think about you guys a lot. I know that you're working hard and have had quite the last few months. Donna, you're getting Tamas as well. So I don't know if you heard this, but this is the card that I drew for who was that? Okay. Destiny, dullness, and inertia, Tamas. You're in a period of hibernation, which is sometimes needed to blossom into a butterfly. Your body is between lines of a poem, notes of a song, steps of a dance. Use this time to fully rejuvenate your system, allowing proper rest and food. Know when it is time to emerge from your cocoon and show the world the gifts you have been cultivating. Stillness is only balance when followed by action. Perhaps you are feeling stuck. You seem not to have the energy that you used to, and feel like the fire within you has been put out. You may feel heavy, absent-minded, and lazy. My dear, you have been in the cocoon for too long, and you've forgotten you have wings. Create movement and novelty in your life. Practice sun salutations upon waking. Take long walks in nature. Clean up your house. Let go of all the ASIC food, those that are packaged, fried, and full of sugar and refined flour. It takes effort to get the wheels moving at first, but once you make the push, you'll be in effortless flow with Kriya. Okay. I think that I think that that's a great thing for you. I know that um with your arthritis, not being able to run, and that was huge for you, has really affected your ability to be able to have an outlet. And so, yeah, definitely. I can see that as part of that is that, you need some sort of a movement. Charlene saying, wow, parental conditioning, thoughts and wandering mind. Yeah, you tagged me. I used to be more meditative and spiritual and have gotten more stressed without it. Yeah, it's amazing how we can let our habits go by the wayside. And the reality is it's really, really, we all do it. We all forget, but I definitely notice when I'm starting to get stressed or kind of intolerant or reactionary, I know that it's because I'm not doing, those spiritual things, which is, meditating and doing my gratitude and, smudging and all the other things that I do to kind of stay grounded, getting out in nature. I really have to be out in nature pretty much every day. I need to get a walk in, those types of things. And so when those go by the wayside, yeah, that, I definitely feel it. And so our job isn't to be perfect. Our job is just to be able to say, okay, you know what? I'm riding a wave and I need to get back on. Okay. I'm glad that you guys are finding, yeah. I'm glad you guys found the readings helpful. I love this new deck. I'll be using it again. I think it's great. Yeah, so true. Body wise, never, yeah, house wise. Yeah, I get it. Because, and exercise doesn't have to be, I think sometimes we like, with exercise, we always think that it has to be like something like super vigorous. I mean, walking, we all can walk, right? Even if it's 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 10 minutes. We really underestimate that. And the thing is walking doesn't really cost anything. Most people, we can do it, even if it's just going when it's in the winter, we can go to a mall and walk in a circle or, we can walk up and down the stairs in our house or, pace in our house. It doesn't necessarily have to cost anything. Yeah, better eating. Great. Okay, thanks for tuning in, guys. I really appreciate it. And I will see you on Wednesday for NP Ask an NP Live. I'll be posting a post tomorrow trying to get some ideas for questions that you want me to answer. And yeah, and keep following me. So thanks. And if there's people that you would like to add to the group, friends that you think that would like it, by all means, add people to the group as you want. Okay, thanks. Take care, guys.